this video, we're going to look at how you cope with indices when they're negative numbers. For example, these ones down here, 3 to the negative 1 and 3 to the negative 2. In order to do that, we're going to observe a pattern. 3 to the power 3 means 3 times 3 times 3 again, which gives you 27. 3 squared is 3 times 3, which gives you 9. And 3 to the power 1 just means the number itself, 3. You should notice that going down this sequence here, the pattern is to divide by 3 each time, because 27 divided by 3 is 9, because we're talking about one less power of 3. 9 divided by 3 is 3. So to get the answer to 3 to the 0, we do 3, and we divide that by 3, which happens to be 1. If we keep going into the negative indices, we do the same thing again. 1 divided by 3 equals 1/3. And then a third divided by 3 is actually a ninth. So you'll notice here that when we have a negative index, negative 1 here, we end up with 1 over 3, and then a negative 2 here, we end up with 1 over 9. These are very closely related to 3 with a positive 2, or 3 with a positive 1. In fact, it's just 1 over what the previous one was. So if 3 squared is 9, 3 to the negative 2 is 1 over 9. So this is the rule of negative indices, that if you have a number, say x to the power negative a, this is just the same as having 1 over that number x, but with a positive a. Let's have a look at this with some examples. So write these as fractions. 2 to the power negative 3. We just said that's the same as 1 over 2 to the power positive 3. And 2 to the positive 3 is 8, because 2 times 2 times 2, 3 times, gives you 8. So 2 to the negative 3 is the same as an eighth. So same again here, 5 to the negative 2 is the same as 1 over 5, but with a positive 2. And 5 with a positive 2 means 5 squared, which is 25. So 5 to the negative 2 is the same as 1 over 25. And finally, 7 to the minus 1 is 1 over 7 with a positive 1, which is just 1/7. Here are some questions for you to try. I'd like you to write each of these as fractions. If you press pause, have a go at those questions, and then when you press play, I will take you through the answers. Okay, here are the answers then. For this first one, we would do 1 over 3 squared, which is the same as 1 over 9. That was one from the examples. And then 5 to the negative 1, 1 over 5. 7 to the negative 2, 1 over 7 squared, which is the same as 1 over 49. 3 to the negative 3 is 1 over 3 to the positive 3, which is 1 over 27. 2 to the negative 4 is the same as 1 over 2 to the 4, which is 1 over 16. And then 1 over 9. And this last question, a bit tricky, it actually combines some previous laws that you learnt at grade C level, multiplication and division law. So if we use the multiplication law on the top, we end up with 2 to the power 5, because we add the 2 and the 3, which gives you 5. And then we're going to divide this by 2 to the 8. And the division law says you subtract the powers. So we end up with 2. 5 take away 8 is a negative 3. And this is the same as 1 over 8, because 2 to the 3 is 8.